Thank you for joining us for All Things Real Estate. Now here are your hosts, Brad Avergon and Gary Kelly.
Welcome to All Things Real Estate here on WCRN, WMCT, and Westboro Cable. I am Gary Kelly with Lamacchia Realty, and I am joined today by
Brad Avergon with Fairway Independent Mortgage. How are you, Gary?
I am doing well. The astute video observers will note that we have a different layout and some different cameras and stuff. And looking in the background, we have a professional video producer. You know, Brad, it's gone from just two guys talking on a Zoom session to something altogether different.
Going worldwide now, Gary, worldwide. We're going to be broadcast in countries across the United States.
Well, you know, on the internet, it's available anywhere that people want to look at it, which is probably kind of scary. So, Brad, I want to tell you a story, and it's a true story. It's about two of our clients that I'm going to call the tortoise and the hare, so you can kind of see where this is going. One client decided that they wanted to buy a house, wanted to get a place for the family and everything else, and they did a great job of outlining what they needed to do, getting their pre-approval set, and we showed them lots of houses over the years. And yeah, you might say that, well, Gary, you're being a little sarcastic there. No, we showed them a lot of houses, and they were specific. And we got to the point, as often happens, where the buyer's saying, well, you know, I'm going to hold off for a little bit because I'm getting a raise. I'm getting a raise and I'm going to have some more money, and you know, what's the impact going to be? And honestly, he was chasing the raise and what was going on in the marketplace with interest rates, etc. So it was kind of a race there. I'm going to contrast that with someone I'm going to call the hare. The hare was living in an apartment. The hare wanted to move out of the apartment, but wasn't really motivated to do so, had no need to. Liked living in the apartment. And then one day, this apartment was sold. It's happening a lot now where the homes are being sold because the landlords can make more money by selling them. And then the tenants are often out looking for a place to go. I want to say out in the street. I don't want to paint that dim and gloomy a picture. But there's no question that they are in a different situation. Well, in this particular case, the hare kept saying, I don't need to worry. The real estate agent has come in and told me it's all going to be okay. The real estate agent came in and said, well, they're showing my home that I'll be able to stay and that my rent will go up just a little. Okay. And so this plays out to the point that the rent is going up nearly double. So the hare all of a sudden is in a rush to find a place to live. What are they going to do? Well, the tortoise is looking at homes, finding homes, all set and ready to go, all pre-approved, everything ready except actually finding the house. So the hare is like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And the hare starts looking at houses, and the idea was the hare was not in a position of buying a home alone, had to have family members participate. And it turns out that the hare, when the home was identified, the hare has some debt that has to be dealt with. Debt that the government is owed. And as you know, Brad, the government doesn't like to be owed debt, and the government has the ability to reach out and just extract money, especially if it's the IRS. You look at your account one day and then the money's gone, and the IRS they're not apologetic, and they probably shouldn't be. So this person is no longer in a position of buying or participating in buying a home. And so the remaining family members end up having to buy the home. The remaining family members decide to go out and they were going to pay cash. Now they've got to, cover for the other person. quick mortgage has to be done, blah, 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 blah. Bottom line is we've got the tortoise who's now living in their new home, new to them home, quite happy. It turns out that the move happened yesterday. And they're very happy with the mover and all that. And you've got the hare who's just too busy to pack, too busy to get stuff moved. The hare happens to have 2 cars. In the new place, you can only have 1 car. So the hare has to sell a car. Well, the hare doesn't like taking phone calls. So, going to sell the car by themselves and not take a phone call. It's just a bad situation. So what's the moral of that story? From my perspective, the moral is realtors can help when people want help. We can't go in and help with loans that are due and all that. I mean, obviously the financial person, someone like yourself, can do that. But it takes time to find a house. And if we keep hearing from someone, I'm too busy, I'm too busy, I'm too busy, at some point, buying a home takes time. And it can be fun if you play it right. So, Brad, I've been telling you stories here. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts is I should have probably worn pajamas to this thing for that nice fable going back and forth. My thoughts are that
a little hot chocolate, Brad.
Maybe a pillow. My thoughts are that you're absolutely right, and I think that this fable is one that's got a good a good message behind it, which is if you prepare. If you do 2 things. One is if you prepare in advance, things will fall into place, okay? And things become a lot less stressful. The other thing that you mentioned is time. To purchase a home or to get a mortgage or to do anything that you want to do it right, you need to invest time. A lot of times people will turn to you or people like me and say, okay, do this for me. Make this magically happen. I'm a very busy person. But this is a partnership. When we work with someone, whether you're working with them or I'm working with them, this is a partnership. It relies on them being part of the process, whether it's getting me information that I need or looking at properties with you. They have to be part of the process. And in doing so, I think that the outcome is always going to be significantly better. If they don't have time to be part of the process, then that's where I think it opens up a lot of opportunity for things to go the wrong direction.
I know that in the case of Sue and I, we've been in situations where we're dealing with someone who doesn't have a technical acumen. And so scanning documents, giving the last 3 months worth of history, all that stuff can really be a large hurdle for them if they're not set up or geared to do that. And so there have been occasions where we've taken documents to the office where we have a scanner that's the size of this desk and, scans very quickly. And then you send it over to the loan officer and the rest is history. It works pretty well. That's different than someone that just basically says, yeah, I don't have time for this. Okay. And, it is a frustration because you want to work with people. We're wired, I think you and myself and certainly Sue, we're wired to help people, but we can only go so far. And at some point they have to help themselves. Absolutely. And that's not to be harsh, not trying to be harsh at all. It's just, that's the way it is. And, you've got to have people that want help, want to get the job done and feel, happy about their decisions at the end. I know I spoke with the tortoise this morning. They're very happy. They're in their place. Their move was yesterday. The school starts tomorrow. It's all a good story. The hare still can't pack. And you're going to say, how much stuff does the hare have? Well, it's a 3-bedroom place. And that's what we're trying to deal with was the 3-bedroom place. And it's not packed yet.
I think a lot of it comes down to, Gary, is setting correct expectations up front. And I think, sometimes you or I or both of us on some occasions have to be the deliverer of news that somebody doesn't necessarily want to hear, which is you need to plan. You need to allocate time to either get this house ready to be listed so that you can put your personal belongings. Otherwise, I know you can call in somebody with a dumpster and they can clear everything out, but if they're all of a sudden missing something that was of great value to them, who are they going to blame? They need to allocate time. With regard to working with me, they need to allocate time to get their documents in order. They need to make time to do an application. I can't do much for a pre-approval if somebody doesn't take the time to at least do an application with me and give me the personal information so that I can look at their credit, look at their documents. And then we have to have that time to have a meeting. And otherwise, it's I think, a recipe for disaster. So saying that up front to people, you're going to need to be part of this process and you're going to need to allocate time. Is that something that you're willing to do?
We all know that you're the master of disaster, Brad. If someone wanted to reach you, how would they do that?
The best way to reach me, Gary, is via my cell phone, which is 978-375-5531, or they can reach me at bradavergon.com. And Gary, how do they reach you?
I'm at 508-733-6005, and it's Gary at Move with Gary. Brad, let's take a break. Let's pay some bills, and we'll pick up on the other side.
Sounds great.
Stay tuned. More All Things Real Estate coming right up.